Hey y'all, I'm back with another video. Thanks again for joining me for TV Talkback. And tonight I'm talking about Married to Medicine, Season 9, Episode 3, Heavenly Intervention. Okay? So let's get into it. Hello?
You doing your video?
Yeah, I just started.
Good job. Appreciate you. Good luck on your video.
Alright, thanks.
Love you, Nana.
Love you too. Alright, so I did not expect my phone to ring. I am filming this on Monday night and it is 10:30. Gotta be to work at 6. I gotta be out the house by 6, which means that I need to be up like 5, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to this. Thanks again so much for joining me for another episode in my series TV Talkback. So let's get into this episode. So we start out Simone and Quad meet up and Quad is on time. And so in this conversation, they're pretty much just catching up with each other, and Quad is talking about her nephew Mason, and she mentions that Mason will not let her out of his sight. And so I know they're talking about it like, oh, he's this little grown man now, and he's, you know, he's more controlling than, you know, any man that's been in my life. But I also think it has a lot to do with the fact that he lost his dad. So now that Quad is a Monty, Mason don't play by Quad, okay? So he likes to hit her up and make sure that he knows where she's at all times, where she is. So in this next scene, Toya and Contessa meet up again.
Corny, lame, boo, tomato, tomato, tomato.
I don't want to be that person, but I kind of prefer them when they're separate and they're, you know, they low-key beefing, because I feel like that's where they're more natural. This little duo they got, just for the sake of not liking Heavenly, I don't like it, okay? Don't even like it. And it's pretty much giving they have no other choice. Like, I know the girls are close with Simone, but right now Simone works more than both of them. We don't even see Contessa at work no more. Does she still work? Anyway, I don't like the new Toya Contessa duo. I can do without it. But anywho. Also, take a shot for every time I say anywho, because when I did the editing for the last video, I noticed it's a lot. Almost said it again. So yeah, Toya is talking about her self-care journey with Contessa. She's pretty much explaining that because Eugene works so much and I guess she's by herself a lot, she's choosing to focus on herself to make herself happy. I don't know. And Contessa tells the confessional that she thinks Toya's whole life is about self-care. And I definitely agree. Toya's synonymous with self-care because it's very clear that she's selfish. Like, she's worried about herself and herself only. Toya says that Eugene doesn't know what makes himself happy, and she says that he's a workaholic. And I wrote down, I wonder why. Like, I wonder why. This is a single income house, but yeah, he's the mover and shaker and everything. Like, he has to keep y'all afloat. There's no you to fall back on. And while he makes great money, I'm sure, you also have expensive tastes. So clearly he has to be a workaholic. And to the workaholic comment, Contessa responds that Eugene is creating a legacy for his sons. And of course, his sons is watching everything he does. And right here, I thought it was the weirdest transition, because Toya was like, yeah, that's why he was so hurt that Heavenly says that he acts like a woman. And I was just kind of confused how we got there. Like, I rewinded it a couple times. I didn't really get how we got there, if for no other reason than bringing Heavenly up. But anyways, I just thought that was a really weird transition. So, of course, we get on Heavenly now, and Contessa says that the topic of Heavenly's YouTube show has been the elephant in the room for a long time now. And once again, I can't help but think you did not have a problem before you and your husband were talked about on her show. So it's definitely self-serving. And I feel like if Toya had any sense, she would realize this, but I don't know. As they're talking about this, Contessa introduces the idea of having an intervention for Heavenly. And so once she brings it up to Toya and Toya agrees that it's a good idea, then who do they call? Simone. They hit Simone up. And so, of course, Simone is like, yeah, this is a great idea. And in my mind, I'm like, y'all are messy. Right off the bat, not only are y'all messy, but Contessa, if you truly wanted this thing to work, you would have asked Quad or Dr. Jackie how they felt about an intervention, and you would have gotten feedback from them. But no, you went straight to the people who already have a problem with this show. Y'all was in the Jeep on the last episode talking about it the whole time. Just talking about Heavenly's YouTube channel the whole time. So now, of course, y'all three on the same page about having this intervention. And I didn't even need to see the preview to know that this is not a good idea. So in the next scene, we're at Dr. Jackie's office, and her patient looks really cute. Like, her patient has on scrubs too, and looks like, she clearly works in the medical field or whatever. But it's just, hair was giving, updo, downdo was just right, makeup was done. I'm like, either sis is on all the time, or she knew she was filming. But she looked really cute. So in this scene, Jackie is telling us about the velaminous cord insertion. And I don't even know why I wrote any of this down, because it truly went over my head. Like, I got the explanation of it, but whatever the case, it was definitely informative. And you gotta love Dr. Jackie for bringing the medicine to Married to Medicine. She gonna teach us something every episode for sure. She also addressed how the maternity mortality rate among Black women is so high. And not only is she totally right about that, but that main statistic, the older I get, the more scared I am to have a child. Like, you just hear so much that when we talk about childbirth, we hear that, it's beautiful and all this stuff, but no, it's truly a blessing. It's truly a miracle. So much just goes on during it, and then so much happens to your body, and I don't know. I just feel like the more I know about it, the more I don't want to know about it. Moving on. So this next scene was really sad, and we got here fast. Because I'm thinking Mrs. Gomez, Anila's nanny, couldn't have given them 2 weeks, like a 2-week notice, because she just, I know, editing and all this stuff, but on the last episode, she tells Anila and her husband, Dr. Karen, that she's leaving. And now on this episode, they're literally telling their children she's leaving, and it's the last day she's there. And I try not to watch reviews before I do mine, even though I really love watching them, but I just want to have my own thoughts or whatever. And so I watched somebody's from last week, and they was like, why wouldn't, Anila get Mrs. Gomez to help her look for a new nanny? At least help put in that search or whatever. Like, of course she would have an eye, for who would be good for children or good for your children, but I don't know. They told the kids, and of course the kids was sad, and the little boy kept talking about his pinto beans and who's gonna make my pinto beans. He was really sad about that. But they just ain't wasting no time. And the kids was crying, like the daughter was crying, and yeah, so that happened. And now in the next scene, we're at Toya's rental house, which I realized, does editing have to be so specific? Because was that necessary? Like I know on Housewives of Atlanta, they'll be like Marlo's condo, or you might have some shows where it's like such and such's apartment. But it's like, dang, and that can't just be that girl house. So Eugene is getting ready for work in this scene, and Toya comes in and is like, "Oh, is that my coffee?" Damn, girl, you got a job to go to? Like, I don't know. I believe that, men can do. I'm not for the gender roles, like specifically. However, if he's the one going to work, why wouldn't you want to like help his morning go smoothly? I don't know. He had her coffee ready though, girl. So Eugene breaks down how he is working more shifts to account for the fact that I believe he isn't a clinical doctor anymore or something like that. But the point is, he's working more shifts to kind of account for that money that's gone missing with, I guess, a different position. And he admits that he wants to do this. So in the confessional, Toya looking at him like, but that's your decision, right? Like, you're doing this because you want to, not because you have to. And so not only after she says this, not only am I thinking, girl, we've seen you try to budget before and it was like pulling teeth. So that's not at like you're so capable or so comfortable with cutting back, because that doesn't seem like your strong suit. But Eugene looks at her like, yeah, I want to do it, but it's a legitimate want. Like, I don't want the money I bring home, to decrease, basically. And then the way he looks at the camera is like, yeah, girl, if I was bringing home less money, you would feel away. Like, let's be real. So then she gets on the topic of self-care, and he literally responds that it feels like he's walking in mud. And so she's like, oh, really? You feel that way? That's a strong, that's a strong way to describe how you're feeling. So walking in mud, I fully get it. And that doesn't seem like anything to kind of, really? No, walking in mud, I feel like Eugene and Toya don't have the tough conversations. And like, I wrote down, flowers isn't the solution for him. You wanted to feel good, I guess, and make yourself happy. So you're not cutting flowers and you do this, and it takes those little things to like bring you like happiness and joy, I guess, help you along this self-care journey. But it seems to me like with Eugene, it's going to not only take more than that, but like tougher conversations and balance. And that means that they going to have to cut some things in order to truly, for him to feel like better. And he don't really check her. I didn't even know I was going to talk about this long, but he doesn't. The only time we've seen him check her is when they were in debt and they was trying to pay back taxes. And he said, we're living in our biggest like payment, or our biggest expense, which is this house. And even that seemed like it, she was taken aback by that. I just think she doesn't seem like she reads through the lines. And I feel like if he doesn't say anything clearly, like cut and dry what it is that he needs or wants from her, she'll just keep going about it like all is well. And I think a part of being with somebody, like being a spouse, is like even hearing the unspoken and what's not being said. And some people got to be better at that. But do you not hear it, or do you not want to hear it?
Message.
So anywho, we get a cute little scene that I didn't really care about. Whatever. And it's with Simone, Cecil, and Omarosa. Omarosa is a really good friend of Simone and Cecil's. And they're talking to her about the book. And they explain why we should care about this, which is because I guess Omarosa is a best-selling author. And she's been on New York Times bestsellers list. I had no idea. And so they're getting like feedback from her about writing this book. And then Michael, their youngest son, calls. He was super cute too, especially when he was little. That face and them glasses. But I really do love Simone, and I love how like kind of cutthroat she is when she talks. So when her son called, she was like, what's up? I ain't got time for no games. Like, what's going on? I guess she was like, I'm filming. What you got to talk about? And so I thought that was funny. Also, did not realize Cecil grew up in South Central. That I'm sure they probably mentioned it before, but it really stuck out to me on this episode because it's like South Central LA to Morehouse. Mama did that. I don't know if his dad was in the picture. I don't remember, but his parents definitely did that. So now we're at Contessa's house. It's the night of the intervention. Contessa has on this joke for a wig. And I immediately was like, she probably got that from Heavenly's beauty supply store because it was definitely synthetic. It didn't even have a part. It just kind of... So I was like, ooh, you shady bitch. But anywho, so we're at Contessa's house, and she told people it was a movie. It was going to be a movie night to get them there. And I don't know. I hate it. Even as we're getting into it, I was just like, it's not that I don't agree that, you know, you should definitely express how you're feeling towards Heavenly. I just feel like it's a way it can be done, especially if you want somebody to hear where you're coming from. And I already know this is... So, of course, Toya and Simone come to... They arrive at Contessa's house first. And Toya, you know, they're talking to each other about, oh, do we think this is going to work or whatever? And Toya says that she doesn't trust Heavenly with her feelings. Like, I think somebody asked the question, do you think Heavenly will understand how we feel? And Toya says she doesn't trust Heavenly with her feelings because Heavenly is going to do what she wants to do. Then why are y'all having an intervention? If you truly expect nothing to come from this, then why y'all doing it? So, at the intervention, the way they're getting everybody there, they not only told everybody that it was a movie night, but once they get there, they call themselves taking everybody's phone so that nobody can warn Heavenly. Nobody can warn Heavenly about why they're there and give her the heads up. And so Anila is kind of... She's skeptical, but she puts her phone in the bucket. Mind you, Toya phone not in the bucket and Simone phone not in the bucket. So at least we could have been consistent, but... So anywho, so Anila's like, I don't like it, but okay. So then you had Quiet come in, and Quiet like, why that's the only phone in the bucket? I'm not putting my phone in the bucket. Oh, I gotta leave? Okay. So they got Toya at the door explaining this to everybody, and it's just a bad play because Quiet leaves, and then when Jackie comes to the door, it's the same thing. So Jackie was in a confessional talking about Toya, and she said, Mrs. MD, I'm the real MD. So I'm not putting my phone in no bucket. I'm on call or whatever. And I said, I know that's right, ma'am. And basically, I'm quieting Jackie to the bullshit. Why I gotta put my phone in a bucket? If it's gonna be all this We might as well sign NDAs or something. But why am I putting my phone in a bucket? I'm a grown person. Like, I decide whether I want to use my phone or not. Very tired. So they literally had to chase Quad and Jackie out. Like, no. You can come back in. But Toya couldn't wait to tell people not to be on their phones. So they finally get everybody down to the theater room of the house. And Quad looks at the screen. And she's like, oh, is we watching a tutorial, honey? And I just love everything Quad does. She really is, like, she's everything for me. I love it. But they finally tell Dr. Jackie, Quad, and Anila that they are there for an intervention. And you can see on those ladies' faces, like, this ain't it. And it was messy as fuck to me, just the whole idea of it. And the more you look at shows like this, like, we've been doing the ensemble cast thing for years. We knows what could truly happen versus what we're doing for the show. So this was obviously for the show. But in real life, Contessa, you don't need 6-7 girls to help you get across to one lady after several months of the silent treatment. You kind of made up your mind when you weren't talking to her. So why now does it need to be an intervention? Why do y'all all need to be in this group to kind of get Heavenly to come to her senses when you're the one that's mad at her? Simone has already settled. She feels the way she feels about Heavenly. Toya feels the way she feels about Heavenly. The other girls feel the way they feel about Heavenly. You the one mad tonight. So why did you need all these girls to do this? So I said Anila is a real one because Anila sat right there, arms folded, and she said, I don't like this. And they could sense that it was going to be a bad idea. So somebody was like, well, isn't this an ambush? So Contessa comes in and everybody's looking like this is going to be bad. And so Quad immediately makes her a drink because she know her friend or whatever. And then they start showing these clips. And it's not just, oh, this is what she did to Contessa. This is what she said about everybody in the room. And it was messy. It was very messy. It was very kind of manipulative in a way to where you could tell Contessa was like, let me remind y'all of what she said about all of y'all. Because she didn't just say nothing about me. She talks about all of us on that channel. It was bad. It was bad. And Contessa laughed the entire time they were showing the video.
Everything about you.
And it was so awkward because everybody in the room, it was like slowly kind of remembering what was said about them. You even had a case where, like, she said something about Quad and Anila was on the channel and Quad sitting right up there by Anila like, bitch, because I'm the youngest bitch and the prettiest bitch in this room. Which, girl, feel how you gonna feel, okay? But I just think it was unfair to kind of get all these people not only mad at her, but kind of mad at each other to prove your point. Where if this group of ladies is reasonable and all of them are your friends, then I think they would have helped you. They would have helped you talk to Heavenly, and they would have helped you bring that point home in a way that wasn't as like nasty. Like it was messy. It was pretty messy and it was bad. But, you know, Heavenly just sat there the whole time, just kind of weak with her little high-pitched laugh. And also, I just want to make the point to say that it seems like some of the meanest things Heavenly said was actually about some of the other girls. And the Contessa Scott clips was low-key light work compared to some of that other stuff. I think Contessa kind of opened a can of worms with this whole ambush intervention. So after the clips go off, Heavenly is like, Contessa, do you want to talk to me? And I said, big facts. Like, your issue is with her, so why don't you talk to her? Like, I don't know why the videos and stuff was necessary, because in reality, Heavenly knows what she said. And so it was just a whole lot going on at this point. And then Heavenly and Contessa was in each other's face. And so their argument kind of moved into the hallway. And with Dr. Jackie said, let them handle it. We're here because of them. Like, they're the ones with the issue right now. Let them handle it. And it was so bad with just them two. It just got really loud, and like the levels in the hall, you could tell the commotion and all of that was bad because all those ladies just kind of sat there in silence. And so I feel like this situation did not have to be this big. Was it good TV? Hell yeah, absolutely. But this was a bad idea. So, child, as the blow up continues, did y'all hear Heavenly tell Toya that Toya was the worst mistake Eugene has ever made? Mind you, Eugene used to work for Dr. Damon. So I think they knew Heavenly and Dr. Damon before anybody on this show. And the whole time I was like, I kept trying to rewind, like, wait, who said that? Because Heavenly, it sounded like Heavenly said that somebody said that. Like, somebody in that room had said that Toya was the worst mistake Eugene has ever made. And Heavenly also made a point to say, I talk my shit on my channel, but the rest of y'all talk about everybody behind their backs. So the yelling and stuff, it made it hard to kind of catch what was going on and what was being said, but it got really bad, and Contessa definitely blew up, didn't maintain, her calmness like whatsoever. At points, Heavenly was trying to hug her. Contessa was like, get off me. I don't know how they're gonna quite come back from this. I don't know if I care. I like Contessa and Heavenly a lot, especially together, but I'm not super invested in it to care whether they get back cool, especially because I'm a strong believer in get what you got to get off your chest. Don't get, if we are friends, don't give me the silent treatment. Please just let me know what I did so we could get past it, because I don't know. You go too long without talking to me, then you could just not talk to me no more. For real. Like, we're grown. You could say what you need to say. But like I said last week, or whatever, week before last, Contessa was definitely waiting for the cameras to start rolling again for this to be her storyline, because she knows she can't play with her marriage no more. Her training to be that, like, physical fitness type, whatever, that competition, that's not going to be enough to, like, carry her through the season. So this beef with Heavenly will have to. And I think Quad was absolutely right when she said this whole intervention wasn't about, like, getting Heavenly. I don't know how she phrased it, but she said this intervention was about getting Heavenly and really, like, on some payback, like, ish. And even I said the fact that you combined all these clips, you got everybody in the room like looking at her and stuff. You worked overtime to make sure that everybody felt just as like mad about her as you did. And I thought that was whack. I thought that was real whack. And I think it says a lot that Quad, who had to sit there and kind of be reminded of not only what her friend Heavenly had said about her, but, you know, even got Anila in it. If Quad can say that after hearing what Heavenly had to say about her, then she's a real one. Like, she's absolutely right. It was an unbiased way of saying you was trying to get Heavenly. Like, this was, I don't know. It definitely served its purpose. You wanted the drama, you came with the drama, it popped off, it got loud, it was messy. Episode 3, it was everything, but the intervention was ineffective, for sure. But thanks for joining me for another episode. I've been doing this for 3 weeks now. And this video is going to come out earlier than my other ones. So even if I'm just talking to myself for now, I know consistency will pay off. So yes, thanks for joining me for another episode of my TV Talkback. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Even if you didn't, like, share your comments below, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.